Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. I greet all our brothers who have come from various places within East and Southeast Asia at this regional meeting. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you because of other occupations. They are not more important than meeting you, but just the timing is difficult to put different things together. But inshallah, as soon as possible, I'll be with you in person. I also would like to thank Professor Usman Bakar for his support for this get-together. And I want to thank the people in charge of the East and Southeast Asia office for having brought you together, organized, and put this great program together for us. Jazahumullahu khairan. Now, I'm going to talk about IOK. It is both Islamization of knowledge and integration of knowledge. What's the way forward? When we started, we used the word Islamization of knowledge. And the movement to Islamize knowledge started in a very prominent way at the start of the 15th century of Hijrah, 1978, 1980. And it wasn't the only Islamization movement. There were also other movements to Islamize all areas of Muslim life. Islamization of economics, Islamization of politics, and social reform. At the beginning, IOK started as a wish, a vision, a dream. But soon, it became something concrete. It developed tracks, practical tracks, like to de-Westernize the academic disciplines, to add Islamic values and concepts to knowledge. So it took a clear path. It stopped being a dream or a hope or a wish. And then it was not only about disciplines that we got from the West, it also involved modernizing and strengthening the classical Islamic sciences because they also had problems. Now, the term Islamization of knowledge soon caused problems, polemical arguments, because it has got the implication that someone is imposing Islam, either on Muslims or non-Muslims. And because of this sensitivity, it was gradually replaced by the term integration of knowledge in the late 1990s and early 2000s. So we've been talking about integration of knowledge. But there was also a parallel movement to integrate knowledge in Europe and America, because the intellectuals there, they were rebelling against empirical sources of knowledge that denied other sources of knowledge. They realized the world is very complex, that knowledge could be from empirical sources, but that there could be other sources, and that medicine, engineering, and other disciplines needed input from religions, cultures, and human non-rational thought, psychology, and emotions. So integration of knowledge was no longer our own idea. It also had got people in the West who supported it. Now, the movement to integrate knowledge in the West was actually a reactive one. It was a reaction to the too much specialization. And they realized that actual problems in society are multidisciplinary. You cannot solve it with one discipline. You need more than one discipline. And that knowledge cannot be compartmentalized into areas of specialization. So they talked about interdisciplinary integration, that is integration within a single academic discipline, interdisciplinary integration, that's integration between two disciplines, that's integration between several disciplines, and then a stage of transdisciplinary integration, when you integrate even beyond specific disciplines of knowledge. because of the rise of IOK, or integration of knowledge in the West, there is now a gradual return to the original term of Islamization of knowledge, because our integration converges with the integration in the West. But there's a small difference in that what we integrate is different. They integrate all disciplines together. But for us, we want, in addition to that, to integrate values from the Quran and Sunnah in knowledge. So we are beginning to return to Islamization of knowledge, but still, this term is sensitive, and maybe other alternatives may be considered. Now, the main achievement of the IOK movement has been the setting up of integrated schools and universities all over the world. The International Islamic University in Malaysia is a good model. These institutions, they have produced integrated curricula and are using integrated teaching materials in various areas: banking, finance, medicine. Everything is at its beginning. I don't say that we have reached the end. We still have a long way to go, but at least we have started. Now, the remaining challenge is that we don't have enough research to develop the concept of IOK even deeper. And we need to move from adding Islamic values to existing knowledge or subtracting non-Islamic ones. We need to move to an area of creating new integrated knowledge. We need to do research. We need to become innovators. We need to become producers of knowledge and not consumers of knowledge produced by others. As I look around, I see that the international climate today favors integration of knowledge, because in Europe and America, there is a strong far-right movement that has arisen in the last 2 decades, winning elections and forcing conservatives and liberals to accommodate the agenda of the right, which includes anti-immigration, anti-foreigners, anti-liberalism, Islamophobia, and the rest. So this movement has reinforced the Islamic identity of Muslims living in the West, South, and East. Say, who are we? They realize that they are being rejected by a civilization that they have been admiring for centuries and wanted to emulate and wanted to live under that civilization. But if the civilization rejects you, you go back to find out what is your identity. So this movement is actually helping many people to become better Muslims. Muslims, therefore, intellectually and emotionally, will be looking at integration of knowledge as an alternative to colonial knowledge and education system, and those people will be emotionally prepared to make contributions. And I think those people will become intellectual resources for national universities, because you have thousands of highly educated and trained professionals with critical skills who will be forced out or will choose on their own to return to their native countries. And I think when they return, they will populate local universities and give them what I estimate is a 10-year head start in science and technology. So those highly educated, trained, experienced people will make a qualitative difference in universities in the Muslim world. And I think they will be enthusiastic, as I said before, about integration of knowledge, because they will have a motivation to assert their Muslim identity in the various disciplines of knowledge. Now, the future of the IOK movement is going to be textbook writing. We need to write our own books in which we can put Islamic values or remove non-Islamic values. I want to be understood very well. This does not mean creating different sciences. We're not going to have a different medicine or a different biology or a different chemistry, but we're going to have that discipline with values from ilm, naqli integrated into them. So I want to show you some books that these are from East Africa that we've been writing. There is a book on atmosphere, weather and climate, this geography. There is a book on economics. This is from Nigeria. And then there is a book on criminal law from Uganda, seeing the comparison between values of criminal law in Uganda and values of the Islamic criminal law. Disaster management, this is from South Sudan. And Islam and educational psychology. Psychology is a subject that is very value-oriented. We need to redo it and contextualize it within the Islamic value system. Literature and microeconomics, public relations. So there are many of these books. I cannot go over all of them. The point is that the future way to go ahead is writing teaching materials by ourselves and for ourselves. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.